Alrighty, everyone. Welcome back to that Rebel Broadcast. I am your host, that Mega Ninja, or Zach. Today, what we'll be doing is we will be ranking legends, all from the first three sets in 2v2 format, based on how well they are as the carry. What is the carry, you might ask? Well, the carry is um, a role that I have come up with based on the ADC and bot lane. There's also the support, but we'll get into the support later. As a recap, they are unit heavy, they are the engine and the point scorer. Um, we'll get more into that as I explain the legends themselves, but if you want more detail just in general, I recommend checking out my previous video about 2v2 as a whole. Um, Being said, a few key things that we will look for to designate whether or not they're really good as having an engine, for example, is if they say you or your. If they say you or your, then they are pretty much designated to be the carry themselves more often than not, just because they're the ones that are required to um, do those actions. Where if they say um, ally or friendly, they're really good at being a supporting style. So we'll get into that later. But what we're going to do today is we're going to focus on the carry tier list. Perfect. Now, let's get into it. So, first things first. First things first. We're going to start off with Kaiser. Sweet. Kaiser is obviously tap reaction, add a power. You may only use this to cast spells. So it focuses on herself, obviously, which is always strong, dominated the set one meta. Fell off a little bit due to just the fact that playing spells cheaper is still very strong. It just isn't an engine in itself. It relied a lot on the lack of cards to just be able to be a really strong control deck because it was able to outvalue other decks. But it sort of isn't as strong per se. Uh, I think as a carry herself in 2v2, she's not really the strongest. I would probably put her as a C. Personally, just because of the fact that you want her to focus on spells, and the carry isn't necessarily focusing on spells. They're trying to score as many points as possible themselves. And yeah, obviously you can have some spells in there, but if your whole deck is focused on playing spells, I just don't think you're a very strong carry, which is okay. It's you don't need everyone to be good at being a carry or being a support. You just one or the other is fine, and I think she shines quite well in the support. Volibear, when you play a mighty unit, you may exhaust me to channel 1 rune exhausted. Now, Volley, I think, could be an incredibly strong carry. Just unit heavy, big, strong, mighty units at all times. I think he probably sits quite comfortably into A. Just because you're not dropping too many runes. There are a lot of 5 cost. There's a lot of mighty units that don't cost a power, and so you can just keep gaining faster runes to drop bigger units incredibly fast. And if you're not worried about protecting them as much, then you could just drop it. Dragon Volley, for example, I think would be an incredibly strong carry if it has a really strong supporting supporting legend like Yasuo. Being able to speed up Volley and get the dragons in faster, get the dragons to do their abilities more. It just, I think, could be incredibly strong. Jinx, when at the start of your beginning phase, draw 1 if you have one of your cards in hand. I'm unsure about Jinx, to be honest. I think she could be a very strong she could be, in theory, a very strong, um, carry, but I feel like just the ability to keep pressure going, I think could be very strong, um, but I just feel like it's just not enough. I feel like she doesn't have an engine in herself. She has, like, a sub-engine that can be used to benefit other things. Like, for example, if her engine was the engine of a fact that, like, you're playing lots of quick, like, little spells to just, like, you're doing lots of spells, lots of slinging yourself to then bring up your teammate so that your teammate doesn't have to do as much. Like, you can defeat enemies, you can do all that other stuff, right? And then you're just drawing off that yourself. Like, you just get 2 more cards, then drop them both to get 2 more cards to drop them both type situation. I feel like it could be something there. I just am not sure on the carry side of it. Like, I feel like could be incredibly fast. And so I'll probably put her um bottom of C, top of D, but I would have to test it more to figure out if even possible for her to be a carry. Um Darius, similar thing, reaction Legion. If you've played another card this turn, add one. I feel like um he's a very strong engine. I feel like he can get a lot of units, do a lot of things on board very quickly. Um, and then so I'd say he's probably B tier. Going into it, nothing much else to say. He's just if you're able to get that energy every turn, then you're always at energy above. Like, it's just I think it's incredibly fast. I think you can do a lot with it. And obviously the Darius unit himself, just being able to come out and hit for big, conquer readied, like it's kind of just yeah. I'm not gonna get into the champion units at all much unless like not even going to do that to be honest. Like there's no point in doing that because then it becomes a whole different thing. This is just the legend ranking. Um but yeah, I think Darius is probably a solid B. I feel like he can shine, but you definitely need to combo him well with something else to shine as a carry. Um, Ari, when a enemy unit attacks a battlefield you control, give it -1 to a minimum of 1. I feel like definitely better than volley, might even be S tier. Just the ability to throw the numbers in your advantage. Um, like it's like when an enemy unit attacks, so it's like pretty much does it to all of them, right? So they just swarm you in and they just get obliterated, right? And the plan is for you to hold the battlefields, which means you want to be very unit heavy. And if you prepare yourself well with a good like maybe um purple green, purple red, just to get their spells in to move to make the RE faster into getting those holds, then I feel like she's just incredibly strong. I might move her to the bottom of S as time goes on, depending on what else we get as a carry. But I feel like she's very strong as a carry for the holding. Any decks that do really well of holding or are missing slight things for that hold, I think just like incredible. I think RA9 Towered Fox, bottom S, top A. Um, she's very strong. And yeah, you don't have to play as many spells because you've got the unit heavy because you want her to hold. Lee Sin as a carry, spend 1 to buff a friendly unit. as a carry, I think it's pretty bad. I think probably D tier as a carry. Um, he's running green orange, um, but yeah, I feel like as a carry himself, he's just not there. I think he would be a very good supporting class, like that paying that one to buff your teammates' units, especially for example, if you were playing with an Ari or a Volley Bear or something similar like that to just make it even stronger. You just permanent upgrade. I think it would be great. I just don't feel like it's very good as a deck themselves. Same thing as Yasuo. His ability is it says on the card, move a friendly unit to or from your base, but it has been errated. I will have to clarify that every time because it is a very big thing. Move a friendly unit to or from its base is the errata. His whole engine is pretty much based around in 2v2 specifically, moving other units, right? Like although he can move his own units very well, um, it ends up costing too much to play your own units, to move your own units and stuff like that, right? Whereas if you pair with something, for example, um, Master Yi or Ari, he literally can spend his first turn just moving their unit in so that they get the hold, which means they become incredibly fast. Like those hold decks, the whole issue with them getting their abilities off is that they're so slow. Whereas with this, it makes them even stronger. Same thing for uh, like purple in general being very movement and green being very spell heavy counter spells. Like I just feel like although he is very, 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 very strong as a support, he just does not carry. He just could not carry it as a deck himself. I don't feel like, um, especially in a meta that is very um, Master Yi carry, like the Wuju Bladesman one, the one that we'll get into sooner, but the one that gives shield too. Like I just feel like it's very hard if you're not either throwing huge units at something like that or um making it harder for them to even conquer in the first place. Leona, um, when you stun or move any, when you stun one or more enemy units, buff a friendly unit. The key word here is friendly. You're able to buff teammates' units or your own units. I feel like as a carry, probably top of C tier, to be honest. I feel like although as a support, I think she'll be incredibly strong. You just run lots of stuns. Um, makes your teammates units that are holding stronger, and um and makes more use out of stuns. I feel like great as a carry herself. I feel like her majority of ability revolves around using spells to stun, and as a carry, you want to be way more reliant on units. And although green yellow has some good units, I just feel like if you are going to be a carry, there are better green yellow carries out there. So I feel like C is a pretty good spot for her. As a carry, I reckon Teemo is going to be an S. Um, I know that was a very fast slam, but Teemo reads something as you may pay one energy to hide a card with hidden instead of one power, which is incredibly huge in general. Teemo is a very strong deck. Ashen OCE took him top 8 of Sydney and did not too badly over in Vancouver as well, from what I've heard. And yeah, put the secondary ability of putting a Teemo unit into your hand from champion zone on the board isn't really like that strong in regards to that carry. But the thing about the rules is that you can only hide cards at battlefields you control. To control a battlefield, you must have units on it, and only you or your teammate can have units on a battlefield. So to control a battlefield, you have to have units on it, which means I feel like for him to be a support is not viable, I don't feel at all. But if you're just running all the hiddens, if you don't have to worry about anything other than that hidden keyword, you're playing units that are go to the battlefield, you're playing cards have hidden, you're playing um your spells all have hidden because you have someone else that can complement and carry in the other aspects of removal of this, of everything else, right? You're just aiming to hide cards, which means you can then play your blue Teemo and just flip a ton of hiddens. Just always doing 5 damage. Every card in your deck just runs hidden. And like, what are they going to do against that? You know, kill the Teemo. You just put him down into hidden all the time. You know, like you just conk with him, play a unit that has hidden, return him to hand, put him face down, and then what are they going to do? They won't be able to remove that Teemo, and then if they try to remove the other one, your teammate just counter spells, right? Like, I feel like Teemo himself very 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 strong as a carry, and if you take it in a 2v2, you're going to surprise some people. Victor, um, one cost, exhaust him, play a recruit token, blue yellow token swarm. I'd say maybe B, bottom of B. I think personally, his ability it just can keep units going. You know, like he can just keep units going, but at the same time, I feel like I feel like he himself is an engine. I don't know if his engine is very valid in the way of being a hard carry like Teemo or um like that, but I feel like he could be strong. I feel like there's a way to make him work that's just token swarm. You're just throwing so many tokens at the board. You're playing blue. You've got your Thousand Tails. You've got your bigger units at the back there, as well as the fact that you're just putting so much on the board that there's nothing that the opponents could do about it. His ability, Siphon Power, just makes everything stronger. Like, I feel like those types of things, I think he can do really well. He's definitely not S tier, but he can do well, I think. Yeah, I think he stays at A. Misfortune. Exhaust her to give a friendly unit ganking. Where is it? Yeah. It's not even friendly units, just give a unit ganking, which means you can give it to your opponent's units. Let's go, let's go. Now, you're probably thinking, right? But I can only do it on my turn. So how does that benefit my teammate? Because as a carry, I don't think she is there. I don't think personally she is all there as a carry. There might be some people that might be able to make it work, but yeah. But according to the rules, your teammates can invite you to use activate abilities or any types of slow speed spells on their turn. They have to invite you to use their priority. You can give your teammates ganking. We're going to get into her. She probably has jumped up a lot in the ranking of support because of this ability, but we're going to get into her later. As a carry herself, though, Orange obviously has a lot of strong units, but I feel like her engine is very much going to be more revolved around the thing. I think Leona is probably move her up to B because I feel like she just should be stronger than C. I think I'll swap Leona and MF. I feel like MF here isn't just you could make her do well if you just like piloted her crazy, but probably Siva would be better as a carry for those colors. Or Kha'Zix, right? I feel like she's just a bit more supportive. Set. Where is he? Where is he? Sorry, I've just got them on the other side so I can make sure that I'm reading them correctly. When a buff unit you control would die, you may pay power and exhaust it to spend its buff and recall it. A tier. Straight up, straight up A tier. Um, maybe even bottom of S. I'll leave him at I think, yeah, move Ari up into bottom of S and Set to top of A. I feel like reason I moved Ari up is because math manipulation on Might is always insane. Like it's just always strong, especially in 2v2 when there's just so much might that's going to be having to be calculated and so much ability. It's why Master Yi is so strong because he just does that. Um, but yeah, then Set the ability to then have the opponent waste all their resources, get counterspelled, waste even more resources, and then you just save the unit anyway. Crazy. You don't even have to worry about running those spells or those any like you can run if you can run challenges and stuff, right? To as some removal because you're not going to be only units, right? But you're just unit focused, right? His whole ability is units you control that are buffed, right? You just run units, you just buff stuff. Like him with Lee Sin, him with Leona, I think would be absolutely insane, to be honest. He might even just be S tier as well. I feel like I'll leave him at top of A for now, but he might have to go up. Actually, no, I think that way works out a bit better. I think Ari in A and then Set in S. I think Set honestly crazy ability. Annie, at the end of your turn, ready 2 runes. Probably B tier, top of B. Let's go top of B tier. Having all that extra 2 runes like readied, so strong. I think, in my opinion, just on turns that aren't yours, means you can just do so much, right? You can drop stuff and then keep going. The reason she's not higher, she probably actually, yeah, probably there. The reason she's not higher, in my opinion, is that her engine, she doesn't really have anything that focuses on her own engine. Um, she just is a strong card, but there's nothing that you have an engine specific to her. I feel like she definitely rates higher as a support. So maybe, yeah, maybe there as a carry, she's probably not there. As a support, I think she's a lot stronger. Yeah. Wuju Bladesman, Master Yi. That's an instant top. He is the top. He is the best one to play. When a friendly unit defends alone, it gets +2 might. He's just insane. He's just insane. Especially when you have purple to move him. Like purple to speed him up. He's just insane. It affects your teammates' units, it affects your units. So if you just need a bit more of a build-up turn and they have like 1 unit on board, they can move it up and they're defending for 2 extra. Like, hey, what are you gonna do about it? Like, might manipulation, crazy strong. He is probably he is the strongest by far. If I could put like 3 cards of breakers between the Teemo set and um the Wuju Bladesman, I would. He is just so incredibly strong. Um, it's actually insane. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. There's nothing you can do against it. Let me see if I can make this. I can zoom this in real quick a bit more, just so I can. Yeah, there we are. And then F11. Yeah, that's a bit better. I think you guys can see that better right now. Yeah, yeah, bet. I think, yeah, crazy. Yeah, I think it's insane. Lux. She's probably down here. Um, she's probably down here as a carry. Her whole thing is about spells. Like, you cannot be a carry if your whole thing is about spells. Simple as that. As a support, I reckon she's probably A tier, S tier, probably not S tier, but A, but top of A tier, I think, for support. Just the ability to just keep going. But her engine is not units, and as so she's not a point scorer. Hey, what are you gonna do about it? Hey, hmm, nothing you can do. Now, Garen, you would think he goes into his own guarantee, but he doesn't. He goes probably as a carry, top of B tier. I know. How often are you gonna get his ability off? But if you're conquering, right, his ability reads, when you conquer, if you have 4 or more units at a battlefield, draw 2. In 1v1s, this is incredibly hard. Like, pretty much impossible. Because they're just going to remove a unit. All they have to do is remove 1 unit, and that's it, right? But in 2v2, your teammate just does all the removing for you. Your teammate is the one that's removing their units before they even get the possibility to it. All you have to do is dump your hand of units. Just keep dropping it, all those units, and then conquer and draw 2. And you're just fishing for your units. That's it, right? Like, I'd say he's even, as a carry, he probably is in line of Victor. I I feel I want to see people make him work. Hey, hot take, hot take. Garen could carry in 2v2. Hot take. Hey, shoot me if I'm wrong. Shoot me if I'm wrong. But I honestly reckon it could work. Hey, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna build a 2v2 deck with it, and we're gonna try it and test it and see how it goes. Because I honestly reckon. I reckon. Hey. Now, Rumble. Mechs you control. We can see what's happening here. It's your mechs have shield. Requirement to control the mechs to get the ability. Whole deck. Probably A tier. As a carry himself, he is the engine. His point scoring through the holding, his whole engine revolves around himself. Hey, pretty strong, I reckon. If you're that might manipulation again, it's pretty strong. Especially if what's he lack? Ways to prevent things from being dropped. Yasuo. Movement. Yasuo movement. Yasuo counterspells. Hey, I feel like he's incredibly strong I feel like he can be very incredibly strong as a carry. He's also the stuff he lacks, your support just brings up for you, Lucian. Now, I originally thought it was friendly equipment, which means he would have been freaking goated on both support and carry, right? But not true. It's your equipment, each give assault. Now, the fact that it's your equipment, it means that he has to land a bit more into that carry aspect. The fact that he still has that combo of Triforce and Aegis, if you get the combo, because all you have to do is focus on that combo, you team up with someone like Yasuo, you team up with someone like Aurelia, just keeps readying him, score 6 points in 1 turn. That's half of your points. Do that twice. Kind of crazy. I probably think he's above volley. Hey, I said it. I think he's a carry. I think he could be a crazy carry. Remember, 2v2 is not the same as 1v1. 1v1, your deck has to do the engine itself as well as protect the engine itself. 2v2, you either protect the engine or you do the engine. And Lucian's engine, kind of crazy. He just has not really the way of protecting it, whereas now you have the external protection. External protection. I think so. Now, Draven, when you win a combat, draw 1. Probably up here with that, probably top of A, actually, I reckon. The ability to just keep drawing, right? It's what made him so strong in the first one. The ability to keep drawing. The ability for you not even having to play the spells that draw you the card, like to win your combats, right? Your teammate could play the cards that bounce the opponent, that win you the combat, and then you're still drawing off of it. Hey, I feel like he's strong. He was always very strong in set 2. Then the bans hit. And we're not going to talk about the bans because the ban list is the exact same in 2v2. But I feel like if he has access to other things that help him win combats, very strong. And yeah, I know that a lot of these units I'm saying are very strong, but a lot of them have engines, right? For example, a lot of them have those self-reliant engines that just giving the external bonus of having another deck to help that engine work just makes it so much stronger, right? But then you have stuff like Lee Sin, whose engine isn't really that strong in the first place. Yasuo, whose engine could be very strong, it just isn't, right? And so because of that, it's just too expensive for him to do his own engine in the 1v1s. So having that 2v2 just makes it ability for them to focus on how using their engine to benefit someone else's engine, right? But a lot of the engines themselves, due to the fact that 1v1 is the main format, just means that they're so self-focused, which is, so when it comes to the support tier list, it's probably going to be look very, very different to this. This is just the carry. This is not how they do in 2v2 overall. This is just how they are as the carry, right? The main focus. The deck you want to use to win and the deck you want to help build a deck to support, right? Let's get into it, right? We're already a couple in to Spirit Forged, so let's continue with Spirit Forged. Who's next? Rek'Sai. When you conquer, you may exhaust me to reveal the top 2 cards of your main deck. You may play one, then recycle the rest. Hey. When you conquer, she has the engine. Her whole engine is focused on her conquering, right? And the ability to then play more cards off of the top of the deck. Hey, more units. Maybe like it just helps. It just helps. You just keep going. You then focus on those cards that say when this costs less to play from anywhere but your hand, or if revealed from the top of the deck, you may do this, or like yeah. You just play those cards. You focus on that type of engine. I feel like probably bottom of A. I feel like that's a good ranking. Bottom of A for that one. It's just strong. But obviously being those colors, the red, yellow, it's just lacking a few things. But I feel like if you focus entirely on that engine, she could be a very strong carry, especially if she's unit focused, which she more than likely ends up being, right? Um, then we've got Ornn. Ornn. Bottom of A. No, top of B, I reckon. He's a good carry, and I feel like he's probably in the middle of both. I feel like he can be swung either way, carry or support, but I feel like he's not very specifically good at either or, right? I feel like the ability of tap me as a reaction, add 1 power, use it to play gear or use gear abilities. Although great, you're focused on gear. You're not focused on units, right? Obviously, you have some units in your deck that benefit off gear, but I feel like you're just not focused on gear. You're just not focused on units. You're focused on gears, you're focused on spells. And so I feel like even then, maybe down here of Kaiser. I feel like probably a bit higher than Kaiser because the gear allows you to do a bit more. So maybe top of C. Top of C. I feel like that's where he sits. But I like B. I feel like B is just. I feel like bottom of B is good for him because you can play those units as well that get benefit off your own gears. But yeah, I feel like he's mediocre in both. Probably a bit better in support. Probably A tier support, but B tier in that. I'm gonna go through this and see if I can make another tier. Can I make another tier? Because I want to make another tier. Normal view. Here we are. Add a row above. And we're going to call this one. We're going to give it the color of dark green. And we're going to call this one Wuju Blazman. Or we can just go PGE. Proving Grounds Yi. I like this better. Boom. Now let's go back to it. We go F11. Nope. And then we go presentation mode. There we are. Better. I like this more. This is better. Because he is just beyond crazy. When we did the 2v2, it was, I think, every table at the top, probably 8 tables, had a Yi carry. Every single one had a Yi carry. There's literally nothing you can do. He is just so incredibly strong. It's just him. He is just him. So he gets his own now. We've got a few more left, probably half left of the Spirit Forge. So let's get into that a bit more. Jax. Let's read him quickly again, just to make sure that I'm doing this off of 100% knowing. Attach or detach equipment you control to a unit you control. Attach an equipment. So that's pay 1, or you can exhaust to attach an attached equipment you control to a unit you control. He just moves equipment around that you control. I feel like he himself has to be the engine. You can't play him as a support at all. The fact that you can move stuff around a lot, like brutalizers and all that other stuff, the fact that you can just keep moving that around, keep cycling the gear, I feel like it's very strong. Probably up here next to Victor, I reckon. I reckon we just leave it at that. I think simple as that. His strong gear has to be units you control, has to be gear you control. So he just focuses purely on like units and gear, and then whoever the support that he plays with just focuses on the spells, right, to keep him going. So Yeah, I feel like that's it. Nothing more you can say there. Pretty quick one. Aurelia as a ability. When you choose a friendly unit, you may exhaust me to pay power and ready it. When you conquer, you may pay one to ready me. You see, that second line makes you think that she's very strong as a um, carry herself, but I'd probably put her like with Garen as a carry. She's strong, but she's definitely not crazy, right? Definitely not crazy. She, I feel like she's an insane support. That ability to just that once off readying of a friendly unit in general, that itself is insane. Like, what are you gonna do about it? And as a carry, I feel like she can do a lot, but I feel like you want her to focus on spells, right? You want her to focus on things that can target that friendly unit, whether it's yours or your teammates. But hey, I I could be I could be on something, bro. I could be on the doubt. She could be S tier. She could be S tier. In 2v2 as a carry, probably is. Probably is an S tier as a carry and a support, to be honest. But I'm going to keep her as a mid A. Next to Volley, um, because she just spends so many runes, right? Like in 2v2, the games, you don't want to drop all your runes if you're the carry. I think that's it, right? Support though, you don't mind dropping your runes. So could be wrong. I could be wrong. Someone could prove me wrong. But hey, you know, I'm not here to I'm not here to tell you what to do. Hey, if you want to run Yasuo carry, you do it. I'm just ranking based on knowledge of playing 2v2 and theory crafting of what decks would look like and what they would be better doing. Um, Azir, we love Azir. Your Sand Soldiers have Weapon Master, and you pay one, exhaust him, play a 2 Might Sand Soldier unit token to your base. Use this only if you've played equipment. Equipment focus, Sand Soldier focus, unit focus. Same thing as Rumble, same thing as Lucian, same thing as Garen. I feel like we moved Draven and Ari up into S, and we leave because nothing compares to PG year, and we leave Azir as top of A. I think I like this a lot. Azir, honestly, crazy. I think not broken levels of crazy, but I think crazy. Maybe yeah. Ari sort of sits between the two. I think. We'll leave her up here for now. Ezreal as a carry. Reaction, draw one, use only if you've chosen enemy units and or gear twice this turn with spells or unit abilities. The fact that yeah, maybe mid B as a carry. I don't feel it. That drawing card engine based off choosing units, enemy units, or end or gear twice this turn with spells and abilities. I feel like it's a lot easier to activate with spells than it is abilities, and I feel like you want to focus on spells and that target enemies and stuff. Bellows Breath, all those types of situations, and you're just drawing off of that. I feel, yeah, personally, I just feel like he is not a carry. He just doesn't have the engine himself to be a carry. That's it. I feel. Renata Glask. Ability. When you or an ally hold, you may exhaust me to play a gold gear token exhausted. While your score is within 3 points of the victory score, your goal adds an additional power. Cost, not power. That'd be broken. Maybe. Whole deck, but peak the words when you or your ally hold. Although it is a keyword for when you hold, I just don't think she's a really good hold deck. I feel like she's a great support deck. Like, insane support deck that when your teammate has now pretty much carried you to within that 3 points of victory score because you've done all your supporting, you've played your removal of the opponents, you've used your gold token to just play things that are really expensive, time warps, not time warps, because that means that you actually maybe that's kind of crazy to then hey, if you hold to time warp yourself, kind of crazy actually. Maybe bottom of A tier. I'm just gonna sit her there in the bottom of A tier. I feel like there's something there that could make her work. Probably top of B tier then. Something there that could really make her work. But I think that source has not yet been discovered. A. That's for you to do, actually, I think. And if you disagree with any of these, to be honest, if you disagree with any single one of these, tell me in the comments below. Tell me in the comments. Tell me where I'm wrong and how wrong I am. And we'll see. We'll come back to this. I'll look into the 2v2s for other regional qualifiers leading, like the Sunday 2v2s and other regional qualifiers, if they have any, leading up into Singapore, when I will be going, and I'll probably be participating in that as well. All the way up until that, as well as your other stuff, I'm going to try and hopefully get a 2v2 event up, that is live streamed, that is like competitive, to see this. I want to get all these stats. I want to get all these I want to get all this stuff locked in, right? I want to get the ability to see this on a competitive level and see how wrong or right I am, right? Sivir, when you recycle a rune, you may exhaust me to play a gold gear token exhausted. When one or more enemy units die, ready me. Hey. Gold loop. I feel like she's incredibly strong as a carry. When you recycle a rune, you may exhaust me to play a gold gear token exhausted. I feel like as a carry, she has legs. The fact that the engine requires you, the fact that, like, yeah, it's not even it's not even the engine, the second part of the engine requiring you to kill units. It just says when one or more enemy units die, ready me. The fact that the fact that this allows you to play like the Sivir units for so much less risk, because you're dropping so many less runes for cycling cost. Like, you can play those expensive units. You can play the units that require you to cycle so much. Graveyard, like recursion, like stuff like that. You can just do that without risk because you're just gonna get so much gold. I feel like as a carry, incredibly strong. Fiora. Let's read Fiora. When one of your units becomes mighty, you may exhaust me to channel one rune exhausted. Straight up there of Sivir. Straight up there of Sivir. I think Sivir is better than Volibear, but I think Fiora is better than Sivir. I think the ability to just you focus on playing units, and then your teammate can make your units mighty. And that might even be bottom of S tier, because you don't even have to drop the stuff to make. You don't even have to make your units mighty. Your teammate can make them mighty, and then you can just exhaust her to channel one. You're dropping Elder Dragon really freaking quick. Then you're dropping Riposte itself. Like, not gonna lie, kind of crazy. I'd say top of A. Reason being is that it's not a repeatable thing. You can't ready her to keep going, and just keep piling up and just an infinite ramp, but it is incredibly strong. Um, I think she could slide into bottom of S tier very easily. Maybe even set level of S tier, mid S. But I'll leave her at top of A for now. Just because of that. That then leads our Spirit Forge. Done. Right? I know it's a long video, guys, and I appreciate you guys for sticking along. We've only got a few more left, one more set to go. I know I'm a yapper, but if you're watching this, it's because you're enjoying me yapping. So, what we're going to do is we're going to hit up Jhin, right? When you play a spell, if you've spent 4 or more, you may banish it. Then if there are 4 spells banished with me, put each in its trash, channel 4 runes, and draw 1. His whole thing is spell-based. His whole thing is spell-based. I think he drops down here with like, yeah, D tier for carry. He's not a carry, man. He is the man of 4s. And none of those 4s means carry. All of those 4s could mean support, though. Every single one of his 4/4s could be support. Just, I don't think is a carry at all. Just doesn't have him in. He just doesn't have that dog in him. Rengar. When you play a unit, give a unit +1 this turn. Unit focused. He's playing units. I'd say probably might manipulation on units. Probably up here with volley. I feel like he's incredibly strong. I don't think he is the strongest, but I feel like he is incredibly strong. As a carry, like, what are you gonna do? He's just gonna keep playing units. He's gonna keep making units 2-3 might stronger in one turn, and then challenge, and then move his unit in, and it just defeats a Yi. Like, what's Yi gonna do against it? You just team up with a Irelia, with a Vex, with a Yasuo, like anything with green, purple, I think works insanely amazing with him. Even a blue to just keep making their might weaker while you just drop a unit and make your might stronger. Like, you get access to punch first. Like, yeah. What else can I say? Pike. Return a friendly unit at a battlefield to its owner's hand. Play a gold gear token exhausted. I don't know, actually. The fact that it says return a friendly unit at a battlefield to its owner's hand makes this really interesting. Because you can play him as a spell-based... you can play him as a spell-based support who then keeps returning Rengars to their owner's hands. Like, keeps returning Vi's to their owner's hands. Right? And that assault with attack benefit makes it stronger, right? Like, you'll just boom, doom, 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 doom. And you just keep playing him. You keep playing him. I think it's kind of crazy. I think as a support, he pops off. I think as a carry, he also does really well. I think he's up here just at bottom of A. I think he just sits there in bottom of A. Yeah. I feel like his engine is strong. I feel like the gaining the gold is pretty strong. But yeah, I feel like he sits there bottom of A. Maybe even, yeah, above these 2 tokens decks. I think that's a good spot for him right there. He has a bit of versatility. He just the ability for him to have red purple as a carry colors are pretty strong. The fact that he then plays the gold gear token exhaust to himself, pretty strong. Graveyard recursion could be pretty good there as well, especially if you're unit heavy. Yeah, moving on. Vi. When you conquer, if you've assigned 3 or more excess damage, you may exhaust me to you may exhaust me to ready a unit. What else can I say? She's up here. She's top of A. She's up here with like Fiora and Azir. I think the 3 of them are interchangeable for where they sit. I think they're all tied for that A level. I think, yeah. I'll go through and do like a double check net once I've sorted everything out and make sure that I feel happy with everything's placed. But yeah, I feel like Vi, Azir, Fiora, they can interchange. Um, you have a support who can help buff your unit, right? You can just keep your unit stronger, and you just assign that damage, ready, move them across, keep going. Like play with her with an MF. MF you have runs 3 abandons, 3 um hard bargains. So that's 6 counter spells to protect your thing. Riposte. Like the MF can run 9 counter spells to help protect your Vi, right? The MF can give the unit you ready with Vi ganking, right? Like kind of crazy. I think that's an insane pair, and I think Vi is actually going to be a very strong carry. Lilia. 4 cost exhaust. Play a ready 3 sprite token with temporary. This ability costs 1 less for each friendly unit with temporary. Bottom of A. She's definitely the one that's focused on scoring because her whole ability is units. I could see her being like a pretty okay support, but I feel like she leads a bit more into that carry. You want to try and have something that can support her. Um, the fact that it's friendly unit with temporary, so like you could run Lux or something or Ornn. You run Sprite Father Ornn as a support to your Sprite Mother Lilia, and she's just paying. She's just playing free sprites, like probably even up here. I think she's going to be strong, to be honest. Yeah, that's all I can say about that. Now we got XPE, the Wuju Master. Level 6, your units have +1, and level 11, your units enter readied. Siva. Vi level, even. Obviously, it's no Wuju Bladesman, right? Definitely no Wuju Bladesman. That card is crazy broken, to be honest, in 2v2, and I think it's beatable, but you definitely have to work for it. And majority of the time, if you beat it, it's because you're running another deck with it, right? But XPE, you just focus on that XP. Your whole thing is grinding the XP until your units enter ready, and you just play like you play with someone like Yet Lux, right? Who just sits there, and her whole thing is to remove enemy units from the board. Boom, boom, singularities, boom, ruinations, like everything else. It just removes units, right? That is insane to me. I just thought of something, right? I just thought of something crazy. Ruination. You invite the Lux to play Ruination on your turn, right? Before you play any units. Ruination pops off. You're at level 11. Ruination kills the entire board. No one's able to counterspell it. No one's able to do anything else, right? You then play 3 readied units go from 8 to 11 and you can win the game off that. Hey, there are some combos in 2v2 and people aren't ready for it. People are not ready for the combos. People have not been theory crafting. People have not been thinking. These combos are ready to be unlocked. And honestly, that is insane. The fact that you can play 3 readied units, it's like Lilia, right? You're just Lilia in better solo carry colors once you reach level 11. Hey, hey. Moving on. Vex Gloomist. When you or an ally hold, you may exhaust me to draw 1. The keyword here is that it's ally as well, which means you don't need to be the carry, which drops her from carry priority being pretty up there to like non-existent carry priority, to be honest. I feel like if you wanted to play a bit more of a carry green purple, you play Irelia. But I feel like she's probably down here. Like she's probably down here with Ornn, bottom of B tier. She could do well herself as a carry, just because it's the fact that when you or an ally hold, so she still gets that ability off herself. But I just feel like she gets access to main to champion zone Vex, which is pretty strong, but we're not going off the champion zone units. We're just going off of the other stuff, the other abilities itself, right? Like I feel like she's strong. I feel like you don't play her as a carry ever, but I feel like if you really, really wanted to, you could. Maybe top of C tier of Annie. I feel the same about Annie. With that, Ivern, where are we? When you conquer or hold, you may exhaust me to replace that battlefield with a brush. Brush. Keywords: when you conquer or hold. Unit, focus, conquer or hold, make a brush. Brush makes every unit you play stronger. If you played pre-Rift, you would know how strong he was, right? Ivern was probably was top 2, if not the strongest pre-Rift deck. Pre-Rift deck. Reason being is that he just has so much might on the board, right? Because it might manipulation. My favorite thing about carries in 2v2, might manipulation. If you yourself have a engine based around manipulating might, you've already won, right? Like joking. You haven't already won, but you're pretty strong. I'd say A tier. I'd say he's winnable as a carry. Like anything A tier up is a really good carry, to be honest. I feel like they're very strong as carries. You can use them a lot to get their abilities off. I feel like anything B is like if you really loved the characters, you could. And like it could probably work well. You might get to top tables as that with that as your carry, but it's not guaranteed. I feel like your carries are probably like 75% like able to get to the top table. So might no, I think that's fine. S tier, I think you're guaranteed top table. If you run like that is your carry with a really good complementary support. Like I think S is like with any good support. I think A is a specific complementary support, and I think Proving Grounds Yi just automatically you're top tables. Like if you run that well, you're top tables. Your support doesn't freaking matter. They could have purple, they could have green, not green, but they could have purple, and you're fine. Purple blue, purple yellow, purple whatever else, you know. But I feel like placing, who did we place last? Ivan there is pretty good. I feel like he is definitely winnable, like often, probably 75% like win rate, I reckon, as a carry. Um, just because my manipulation. Like you get onto a battlefield, you swarm it with tokens, you swarm it with poros, you swarm it with cheap units who then keep getting stronger with the brush. Hey. And there's an alternate win con. Hey, I think it's fine. I think it's pretty strong. Diana, where are you? I just want to make sure I'm getting it completely correct. Where is Diana? There. Reaction, add 1, spend this energy only during a showdown. Cool thing is that it doesn't have to necessarily be your showdown. I think she sits here with Leona. I'm just gonna put her and Leona together just because I feel like uh what else? I feel like she could be strong. She could do well if as a carry if you really wanted her to. But I feel like she sits well with the support too. I feel like anywhere in B tier, if they're B tier in both, or like if you could sort of run 2 supports if you lean one more into the carry side. Like for example, if you lean Diana more into the carry side, with a focus on playing cheap spells that you keep some energy up for the showdowns, because obviously you do want to keep running spells, right? You don't want to just only be um thing. You get access to purple spells, Existential Dread. You get, yeah. Like I feel like as a maybe like as a carry, A, she's got she's got so much versatility herself, as well as the fact that, yeah, bottom of bottom of A, maybe here of Pike. I might drop these 3 down to the top of B tier, just because I think that made my work a bit better. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Excuse me. What am I doing? What am I doing? No, no, no. Mind me, guys. Don't mind me, guys. It's been a long video. So I know I'm with you guys. 3 more left. 3 more left. 3 more left. LeBlanc, 100% going to be at the top of the carry list, right? When you conquer a hold, you may discard 1 and exhaust me to play a ready reflection unit token. There, it becomes a copy of another unit. Give it temporary. Straight up the top, I reckon. When you conquer a hold, specifically discard a card. If you're running units, you don't really care if you're discarding something that's late game unit wise, so that you can bring it back with a Rift Herald or anything else, right? Like that, right? Like you're not really too fussed. But the fact that you have that ready, like if you ran LeBlanc with MF, that's kind of crazy as well. Via MF, LeBlanc MF, like I think that's kind of crazy. The fact that you can just keep scoring, like you just keep scoring, kind of insane. Moving on, S tier. She's super strong. What she lacks is counterspells in 1v1. You just get that with a good support, right? You run a purple support, get counterspells. That's what they're going to do. They're going to gust your reflection token and have it counterspelled. Hey. Yeah, that's what I thought. Kha'Zix is right there. When you win a combat, gain 1 XP. Spend 1 XP to buff a unit, spend 2 XP to move an exhausted friendly unit from battlefield to its base. Now, here's the keyword. It specifically says when you win a combat. So he has to be a carry, right? Because he has to be the one winning combat. He has to be the one with the units that are in the battle winning combat. I think I think he does well. I think yellow, purple could be strong. I think I sit him around here with Jax. I'm happy with that. I leave it there. His engine gives benefits himself for winning combats, benefits uh buffing, right? Like he could be an XP farm, but I don't think so. I think he focuses on himself. I think you play stuff that help him green that helps him with the counter spells, blue that just helps him win the fights that he needs to win, right? I think that's it. Now, last but not least, Poppy. When you hold, gain 1 XP, spend 3 XP to draw a card. Here, with Kha'Zix, I think. I just slot him into Kha'Zix. Yeah. I think this is it. Poppy focuses on the you hold, so you want to be holding. Um, I think she just sits there. Spend 3 XP to draw 1 is not really the best, but yeah. XP farming, I think, is not the hardest thing to do, and I think, hey, you can do it. I think you can do it quite well. Especially if you're focused on that. If you're focused on holding and you team up with a green purple Yasuo, Aurelia, Vex. Vex specifically could be pretty good for Poppy. Uh, just because Poppy's out here. Um, Poppy's out here holding. Vex gets benefit from the hold and also can help Poppy hold. Hey, then Poppy can just keep the engine going by drawing those cards every 3 holds. Now, is that for? I don't know the rules about Poppy itself, right? This is just a side tangent. But if Poppy herself can get um does when you hold gain 1 XP, is that per battlefield? So Poppy in 2v2 can hold all 3 battlefields, gain 3 XP, and then on her turn spend it to draw another card. So you're just drawing 2 those turns. It's kind of crazy. Hey, kind of crazy. Well, that's it for that. I'm gonna leave it like this. I think this is pretty strong, pretty good, where it is. Um, might drop Lux down to D tier as a carry. She just can't carry at all. I think I think this I think this is better. That is perfect for the carry list. Um, Yi proving grounds Yi broken, unbeatable. S tier really strong. I think might manipulation in general, drawing cards, creating strong units out of thin air that you get to use Death Knell off of. Kind of crazy. Um, A tier, obviously you got your first 3 in A tier that are all interchangeable. I think they're all incredibly strong. Uh, they could all move up into S tier. I just need a bit more visual proof to see them do well like that as a carry. Um, but I could move them up very easily. I think the Unleashed Yi also has um ability to move up if with the right circumstances, but I feel like the he is the top of like definite A, right? Same as with like Lucian as well. And then yeah, everything down there. Irelia, I could be very wrong about Irelia as a carry. I'm seeing her more as a support, but I could be very wrong about her as a carry. If I am, great to be corrected. She could very much be S tier carry, but I feel like what makes her so strong in the 1v1s is what would make her incredibly strong as a support. But we'll see where things go. B tier, very happy with that. they all have good engines. Um, Obviously, not really. If you're trying to win tournaments, doable, but wouldn't be my personal go to. But hey, I could be wrong again. Some of these could be absolutely insane as carries. Um, Same as C tier. I think you just want to avoid them unless you really, really, really want to play that specific person as a carry. You just avoid them as carries. Put them in as supports, no issue, right? And D tier, just don't play them carries. I don't reckon like ever. Like they got no carry synergy. They're buff. Sorry, Lee Sid. My mind is focused on you apparently. Their support synergy and engines are pretty strong, but their carry engines I don't think are there. Yeah. But other than that, I'll get this saved and um I'll put a proper one up later about it. I'll put a post up after the video goes live about this so that people can analyze it a bit more. But at this stage, I think this is where it sits. Obviously, I'll be doing one of these at before each and every set. As we go into each and every set, I'll do one for both carry and one for support. Um, and we'll see how things change there and everything else. Obviously, I'll have more information based on Unleashed Unleashed ones, more 2v2 stuff coming out. I'm going to try and host my own 2v2 thing to get a bit more competitive information about 2v2 and see what sits where and everything else. But hey, just want to say thank you for watching. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Like and subscribe if you've made it this far. I appreciate you, and hope to see you in the next one. Thank you.